Hi everyone, and welcome to Pleasure Principles. This is your space to totally ditch the shame and get real about all things sex and pleasure. You know me, I'm all about breaking down those weird taboos and having those conversations that sometimes feel a bit awkward. Today, we're diving into a topic that I know you guys are curious about: different types of orgasms. Because guess what? Orgasms aren't one size fits all. There's a whole world of pleasure out there waiting to be discovered. And trust me, your body is capable of some pretty amazing things. So, whether you're just starting your journey of self-discovery, or you're a seasoned pro looking to spice things up, this video is for you. We're going to get up close and personal with all the different ways you can experience those toe-curling, mind-blowing sensations. So, grab your fave vibrator, get comfy, and let's get ready to unlock some serious pleasure potential. Okay, let's start with the OG, the classic, the one and only, the clitoral orgasm. We all know the clitoris is basically the queen bee of pleasure, right? It's packed with thousands of nerve endings, more than any other part of the body, which is pretty damn impressive if you ask me. Now, stimulating your clitoris can bring about some seriously intense and concentrated pleasure. Think of it like fireworks going off in your lower abdomen. It's that good. And the best part? It's usually the easiest type of orgasm to achieve, especially if you're just starting to explore your body. There are so many ways to experience a clitoral orgasm, from direct stimulation with your fingers or a vibrator to indirect stimulation during sex. It's all about finding what feels good for you. Don't be afraid to experiment with different touches, speeds, and pressures. You might be surprised at what gets you going. And remember, lube is your best friend. It reduces friction and makes everything feel smoother and more pleasurable. So, go ahead, give yourself permission to explore and see what kind of clitoral bliss you can unlock. Trust me, it's worth it. Next up, we're diving into the ever so often discussed vaginal orgasm. Now, this one tends to be a bit more shrouded in mystery and sometimes even a bit of, dare I say, shame. But let me tell you, there's absolutely nothing shameful about experiencing pleasure through your vagina. Vaginal orgasms often feel deeper and more internal than clitoral orgasms. Some people describe it as a wave of pleasure that starts deep inside and radiates outwards. It's like a full-body experience that leaves you feeling totally blissed out. Now, achieving a vaginal orgasm can sometimes be a bit trickier than a clitoral one, and it often requires a bit more patience and exploration. It's all about finding the right kind of stimulation. For some people, penetration alone might be enough to get them there, while others might need some extra clitoral stimulation at the same time. And let's not forget about our friend, the G-spot. The G-spot is located on the front wall of the vagina and can be a real game changer when it comes to vaginal orgasms. So, don't be afraid to communicate with yourself. Figure out what feels good. And don't be afraid to use your hands or toys to enhance the experience. You deserve to experience the magic of a vaginal orgasm. Okay, let's talk about the A-spot, shall we? This little-known erogenous zone is like the hidden gem of the vagina. The A-spot, or anterior fornix, is located deeper inside the vagina, closer to the cervix. Now, stimulating the A-spot can bring about a really unique type of orgasm that many people describe as intensely satisfying and almost spiritual. It's like a slow burn that builds and builds until you're completely overwhelmed with pleasure. One of the things that makes the A-spot so special is that it's connected to the uterus and bladder, so stimulating it can trigger those deep internal sensations. Some people even say that A-spot orgasms can be more intense and longer lasting than other types of orgasms. Now, finding your A-spot can take a bit of practice. It's usually easiest to locate when you're aroused and your vagina is lubricated. And just like with any other erogenous zone, communication is key. Let your partner know what feels good and don't be afraid to take charge and guide their touch. Remember, pleasure is a journey, not a destination. Chapter 4. The Anal Orgasm. All right, let's move on to a topic that can be a bit taboo but is totally worth discussing: anal orgasms. Now, I know the anus isn't usually the first place that comes to mind when we think about pleasure, but trust me, it has the potential to be an incredible source of sensation. The anus is actually packed with nerve endings, just like the clitoris and vagina, so stimulating it can lead to some seriously intense orgasms. Some people describe anal orgasms as feeling very intense and even somewhat spiritual. Now, I know that exploring anal play might seem a bit intimidating at first, and that's totally understandable. But the key here is to approach it with an open mind, a whole lot of lube, and most importantly, clear communication with your partner. Start slow, use plenty of lubrication, and listen to your body. If something doesn't feel good, stop and reassess. And remember, consent is absolutely crucial, both for yourself and your partner. So, if you're curious about anal play, I encourage you to do your research, talk to your partner, and see where it takes you. You never know, you might just discover a whole new world of pleasure. Chapter 5. The Multiple Orgasm. Okay, let's talk about something truly magical. Multiple orgasms. Because yes, it's a real thing, and no, it's not just a myth. Multiple orgasms are basically exactly what they sound like. Experiencing multiple orgasms within a single sexy session. Now, imagine riding that wave of pleasure over and over again, without ever fully coming down. Sounds pretty amazing, right? Well, it is. And the best part is, anyone can experience multiple orgasms, regardless of their gender or anatomy. The key to achieving multiple orgasms is to stay in that heightened state of arousal without letting yourself come all the way down after each peak. This might sound a bit tricky, but with a bit of practice and the right kind of stimulation, it's totally achievable. Experiment with different techniques, like edging, where you bring yourself close to orgasm and then back off. Or try focusing on building and sustaining your arousal rather than rushing towards the finish line. And remember, communication is key. If you're with a partner, let them know what feels good and how close you are to the edge. Multiple orgasms are all about riding those waves of pleasure, and with a little practice, you'll be a pro in no time. Chapter 6. The Blended Orgasm. Now, let's talk about a truly mind-blowing experience. The blended orgasm. This is where things get really interesting. A blended orgasm is basically like the ultimate orgasm cocktail, where you're experiencing multiple types of orgasms simultaneously. Imagine the intense pleasure of a clitoral orgasm combined with the deep, full-body sensations of a vaginal orgasm, or even the added intensity of an anal orgasm thrown into the mix. It's like a symphony of pleasure, with all your erogenous zones working together in perfect harmony. Achieving a blended orgasm is all about exploring different combinations of stimulation and finding what works best for your body. It might take some experimentation, but trust me, the results are well worth the effort. Don't be afraid to mix and match different techniques. like using a vibrator on your clitoris while engaging in penetration, or stimulating your A-spot while also incorporating anal play. The possibilities are truly endless, and the key is to listen to your body, communicate with your partner, and most importantly, have fun with it. Chapter 7. The nipple orgasm. Let's move on to a topic that often gets overlooked. The nipple orgasm. Yes, you heard that right. Our nipples are erogenous zones too, and they're capable of providing some seriously intense pleasure. For some people, nipple stimulation alone can be enough to trigger a full-blown orgasm, while others might find it enhances other types of orgasms. It really varies from person to person, which is why it's so important to explore and figure out what works best for you. Nipples are super sensitive, so start slow with gentle touches, kisses, or even light sucking. You can also experiment with different temperatures, like using ice cubes or warm massage oil. And don't be afraid to get a little kinky with it. Nipple clamps, spanking, or even just a bit of hair pulling can all add to the sensation. The key is to have fun, experiment, and see what gets you going. Chapter 8. The mental orgasm. Now, let's delve into the fascinating world of the mind-body connection with the mental orgasm. Because believe it or not, you don't always need physical touch to experience incredible pleasure. Our minds are powerful tools, and with a little imagination and focus, it's possible to achieve a mental orgasm through fantasy and arousal alone. Think of it like meditation for your libido. Find a comfortable position, close your eyes, and let your mind wander to a place of pure pleasure. Focus on your breath, visualize your fantasies in vivid detail, and allow yourself to get completely lost in the sensations. You might be surprised at how real the sensations can feel, even without any physical stimulation. Mental orgasms are a testament to the incredible power of our minds and the fact that pleasure can be accessed in so many different ways. So, next time you're looking to explore your sensual side, don't underestimate the power of your own imagination. You might just be surprised at what you're capable of. Chapter 9. The energy orgasm. Okay, let's talk about a type of orgasm that's a little less about physical touch and more about harnessing your inner energy. The energy orgasm. This one's for all my spiritual babes out there. Energy orgasms are often experienced during practices like Tantra or Kundalini Yoga, where the focus is on building and moving sexual energy throughout the body. Now, energy orgasms might not involve direct genital stimulation, but they can be just as intense and even more fulfilling than traditional orgasms. They're all about tapping into your life force energy and allowing it to flow freely throughout your body. This might sound a bit out there, but trust me, it's worth exploring. There are tons of resources available online and in books that can teach you about tantric practices and energy work. And who knows, you might just discover a whole new level of pleasure and connection with your body. Chapter 10. The sleep orgasm. And last but not least, let's talk about a type of orgasm that happens when you're least expecting it. The sleep orgasm. We've all woken up from a particularly vivid dream, feeling a little bit flustered. Well, that, my friends, could very well have been a sleep orgasm. Sleep orgasms are exactly what they sound like. Orgasms that happen while you're sleeping. They're more common than you might think, and they can happen to anyone, regardless of gender or relationship status. Now, we don't know exactly what causes sleep orgasms, but it's thought that they might be triggered by dreams, hormonal fluctuations, or even just the physical sensations of arousal that can happen naturally during sleep. So, if you've ever woken up feeling a little bit hot and bothered, there's a good chance you've experienced the elusive sleep orgasm. And hey, even if you haven't, it's always a fun topic to chat about with your friends. The grand finale, embrace your pleasure potential. So there you have it, a whirlwind tour of the amazing world of orgasms. We've covered everything from the classics to the more obscure, and hopefully, you've learned a thing or two about the incredible potential of your own body. Remember, everyone's different, and what gets one person going might not do it for another. The most important thing is to approach pleasure with an open mind, a sense of curiosity, and a whole lot of self-love. Don't be afraid to experiment, communicate with your partner, and most importantly, listen to your body. Because when it comes to pleasure, there are no rules, no right or wrong answers, just a whole lot of incredible sensations waiting to be discovered. Now, go forth and explore your pleasure potential. And don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel for more sex-positive content, and leave me a comment down below letting me know which type of orgasm you're most curious to try. Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and most importantly, stay pleasure positive.